for the past 4 years, I've stood in this House to speak on the challenges our seniors face. I've filed question after question, made speech after speech, because the realities of an aging society are not a distant problem. They are here, now. Singapore is rapidly becoming a super-aged society. Our fertility rate remains low. Fewer workers will support more retirees. We talk about sustainability all the time, but if we do not act boldly now, the burden on future generations will be unsustainable. This budget takes steps in the right direction. The home caregiving grant increase and the extension of the senior employment credit are welcome. But there are still some blind spots. Today, I'll focus on 3 urgent areas: keeping seniors meaningfully employed, expanding housing options so that they can age in place, and strengthening support for caregivers. First, Mr. Speaker, sir, employment is not just about making ends meet. It gives seniors purpose, dignity, and connection. Many want to work, not because they have to, but because they feel healthy enough to contribute. Yet, despite all our rhetoric about senior employment, ageism is still deeply embedded in our hiring culture. The unspoken belief that older workers are less productive persists. And while policies like the Senior Employment Credit help, they do not address the fundamental issue. Workplaces are still not designed for an aging workforce. So what must change? First, we need businesses to take the lead in creating age-inclusive workplaces. Existing schemes like the Productivity Solutions Grants can be expanded to reward firms that redesign roles for senior workers, whether through flexible work, job sharing, or phased retirement. Let us introduce a gold standard certification for age-friendly employers with tax incentives or public recognition. Let us reward companies that walk the talk. Second, training must be relevant. The Skill Future Level Up program is a start. But let's get real. How many seniors will sit through generic digital courses? We need targeted modules in areas like caregiving and gig economy skills. For instance, seniors can be trained as digital assistants to help SMEs onboard e-commerce. Training should also be bite-sized, accessible in community centers, not buried under layers of red tape. Finally, we must deal with hiring bias. The upcoming workplace fairness legislation should explicitly penalize age discrimination in recruitment. And we need a mindset shift. Let us run a national campaign showcasing seniors excelling in different sectors, not as an afterthought, but as an expectation. Next, Mr. Speaker, sir, housing. Aging in place is not just about preference. It is about dignity. But our current housing policies may not be keeping pace. Take direct leave access. During question time last week, multiple MPs raised this issue, and for good reason. In Yio Chu Kang, Block 642 and 648 at Ang Mo Kio Avenue 5 still have no direct lift access for some units. The so-called half-landing solution from 2008 is no longer adequate. Seniors with mobility issues struggle daily. I've raised this issue before. While I acknowledge the Minister's concerns about cost effectiveness and technical constraints, I have to ask, are these considerations more important than the daily hardship faced by our seniors? Residents feel frustrated, even betrayed. Some say they feel cheated, paying for upgrades only to find themselves still trapped in their own homes. The Live Access Housing Grant sounds good on paper, but in reality, moving is expensive, it is disruptive, and for many, it means leaving behind a home filled with decades of memories. So let us fix this. I propose a special lift retrofit fund to explore compact lift solutions for blocks without direct lift access. No senior should be forced to relocate just to move freely in their own community. But we need to move further. Projects like Kampong Admiralty and Bukit Batok's community care apartments are good, but they are just a drop in the ocean. Where is the urgency? We need a faster rollout. We should repurpose unused public buildings, such as the former Henderson Primary School, to create new senior-friendly housing. And let us think bigger. Why not build intergenerational living spaces where seniors and young residents coexist meaningfully. University students could get subsidized rent in exchange for community engagement. Older adults could mentor, share skills, and build relationships with younger generations. Everyone benefits. The ideas exist. What we need is action. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, we need to talk about caregivers, the invisible backbone of our aging society. Many juggle work and caregiving, sacrificing their own well-being to care for aging loved ones. We appreciate the enhancements to the home caregiving grants, but let us be honest, it is a small step. We need more structural support. I propose 3 solutions. First, caregiver co-working hubs. Imagine a place where caregivers can work remotely or upskill where their loved ones receive care. Co-located elder care and co-working spaces can make this possible. Let us pilot it. An enhanced caregiver training allowance, more funding to help caregivers gain professional certification in dementia care, physiotherapy, and mental health support, so they can provide better care and even transition to new career paths. And third, a one-stop digital support platform, a streamlined online hub where caregivers can access respite care, financial aid, and training resources all in one place. Caregivers do the heavy lifting, yet their sacrifices often go unnoticed. Let us change that. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, our seniors have given their best years to Singapore. They built our homes, our industries, our institutions. They worked tirelessly, often without complaint, to give their children, us, a better life. Their sacrifices shaped the Singapore we enjoy today. Now, as they enter their golden years, the question before us is simple. Will we repay their dedication with policies that enable them to live with dignity, security, and purpose? Or will they be left behind, expected to navigate old age alone? This is not just about economic sustainability. It's about the kind of society we choose to be. If we want to build a Singapore that truly respects and uplifts our seniors, we must act decisively. Empower our seniors to work as long as they choose by tackling ageism in hiring, expanding wage support, and redesigning workspaces to be inclusive of older workers. Ensure seniors can age in place with dignity by prioritizing direct lift access in the aging estates, expanding senior-friendly housing options, and reimagining intergenerational living spaces where seniors and young persons can thrive together. And strengthen support for caregivers by introducing caregiver co-working hubs, enhancing training allowances, and developing a one-stop digital support platform to ease their caregiving burden. Each of these proposals is not just a policy tweak. They are essential steps towards an age-inclusive Singapore. And just as this budget takes bold steps, exploring nuclear energy for resilience, strengthening our economic foundations, we too must be bold in rethinking how we care for our seniors. Because the question before us is not whether we can do better, but whether we will. We cannot afford to wait. The super-aged society is not a distant future. It is already here. We must build now, not later. We must invest now, not regret later. Let us not wait till we ourselves are old before we realize what we should have done today. Let us choose wisely and let us act boldly. Let us build a Singapore where every senior is valued not as a burden, but as a pillar of our society. This is the Singapore they built. This is the Singapore we must now build for them. I support the budget.